Hello, BookTube, and welcome back to Summer of Sport 2025, created by Mark at Book Time with Elvis to celebrate sports writing, fiction and nonfiction. The vast body of writing that has some form of organized sports at its heart for one reason or another. And I have been neglectful of Summer of Sport recently because my love of new releases, of new reading, has been commandeering large amounts of my reading time when it's time to shut off the world and read all night long. And a large part of those books have had the same setting and subject, which is ancient Rome, which is a kind of irresistible subject for me. So if new books were calling to me to neglect BookTube events in June on some other subject, professional sports racing, the Habsburgs, something like that, maybe not. But ancient Rome? Nevertheless, I made time last night and this morning to do some more BookTube event reading, including Summer of Sport, and here we have a problem. Because clearly, the gods of Summer of Sport have been shoveling one particular book at me since the event began, years ago. And I have been a willing participant. I pay attention to the book gods when they warp kismet in my direction, but there are times when you have to put your foot down. Last night I read a book by Luca Reed, who, unlike the author of most of these books that I'm reading, is apparently a real person and not a bot. And Luca Reed appears to be this person's name, or close to it. And this is Penalty Box of Hearts. It is, yes, you guessed it, a gay hockey romance. And that's where I'm putting my foot down, whether it's on an ice blade or not. I'm putting my foot down about gay hockey romances. I am perfectly willing, if the book gods want me to become the BookTube's foremost expert on gay hockey romance, I will do that. But I'm not going to let Summer of Sport be entirely gay hockey romance. I don't think there are 90 gay hockey romance novels out there. So I am going to put my foot down, and we are going to change what we're doing. I'm going to change what I'm reading for Summer of Sport after today. Tonight, the thing that goes on the pile is not going to be gay hockey romance. But for now, this is a gay hockey romance in which we are dealing with the captain of a team called the Icebreakers. His name is Casey. And he is one of those people, I'm sure you know them. He's fairly well described in this book. I'm imagining from this that Luca Reed either is one of these types of people or certainly knows them. He's one of those types of people that compartmentalizes everything in his life. So he's not denying anything, but everything has to be in its place and nothing can wander from its place. So his personal relationships, his family relationships, his status as team captain, his hockey world, which is perforce the biggest part of his life, but also his sexuality. He's gay, and he's not a self-hating gay, not quite, but it's compartmentalized. It stays where it belongs, and it does not trespass on the world of hockey. He does not mix the streams at all. When all of a sudden his team gets a new assistant coach, Dean. And Dean is not compartmentalized. No part of Dean's life is compartmentalized, and especially not his sexuality. He, like most 21st century people in identity politics circles, has made who he sleeps with into a gigantic part of his personality rather than a mere physical proclivity, which is all that it is and all that it ever will be. Instead, it's become a major part of his personality. He's not as obnoxious as I'm making him sound. He's endearing. But he's in Casey's life suddenly. There's no way to avoid an assistant coach. There's no way to do that. He's in Casey's life, and it doesn't take people long, his teammates especially, it doesn't take them long to see that there's something going on here, that there's maybe a relationship that's trying to happen here. There's a lot of ribbing. There's stuff later on in the book that's a little darker than ribbing. Casey starts to wonder if this is damaging to him, to the one world, one separate compartment of his life. And if you've never ever known anyone who tightly compartmentalizes their lives, if you disturb a compartment, it sends them wacko. It sends their whole world into a tailspin. They don't just recover. It destroys every. I'm sorry that I'm sounding like they're an alien species. I don't do that sort of thing at all, not in the slightest. And so it's always been a little bit confusing to me. But it's well drawn here. Luca Reed is a better writer than an algorithm. So this is well done. It's well drawn. As they slowly encroach on each other's worlds. For me, the main drama was Casey, because Dean doesn't really have a drama. He knows who he is. He knows that he wants the whole world to know who he is, and he doesn't care what anybody says about him in that regard. Whereas Casey has something to lose, at least in his own mind, he does. So his drama was more interesting to me than either Dean's personal story or their growing relationship. Luca Reed makes me invested in whether or not Casey's life is going to be upended. As their relationship slowly grows, as they're forced into the same bed together, they're forced into proximity a few times together, they have little squabbles, they start to learn each other's attitudes and start to think about each other more than perhaps a captain and a coach should think about each other. That part is done gradually and wonderfully. I kept expecting, thanks to my traumatic emotional scarring from previous gay hockey romances, that these two would have a moment of will they, won't they, and then immediately start the pistons striking, if you know what I mean. That would immediately start happening, and that it would leave literally nothing to the imagination. And that doesn't happen in this book. Everything is far more mannered, far more delicate, far more restrained, which I appreciated. So my gay hockey romance for Summer Sport today is not at all a pan. This is I think the first book in the series. Well worth it, enjoyable to read, touching, heartfelt at times. But I am putting my blade down. I am not going to read a gay hockey romance tonight. I'm going to read something else. Probably not a gay romance of any kind of sport. I'm probably going to read some nonfiction, maybe a little nonfiction for Summer Sport to reclaim territory. I know I said earlier that it's only the first week of June. The first week of June isn't even come and gone yet. We have all summer long, but nevertheless, patterns like this need to be nipped in the bud or they will start to take over, and I don't want that to happen. I am the master of my destiny. I'm the captain of my fate. So I don't know what we'll be talking about next time for Summer Sport, but it won't be a gay hockey romance. Okay? Thank you, BookTube.